Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Mooney's Mini Bites. I'm your host, Kosi, and I'm joined always by Wani B. And yeah, we're getting it in with another Sportsball episode, dude. I'm glad we could fit this one in the schedule.
It was Sportsball.
It was Sportsball, dude. I think when you first pitched it, I was like, of course we can talk about sports. You talk about sports all the time off air, so why not do it again and share with the listeners? So yeah,
It's still pop
you
culture,
said,
right? It still counts.
huh?
It still counts as pop culture, right?
Of course, it's pop culture. These are both athletes and celebrities that are playing. Yeah, I think it definitely counts. Had a little bit of sports ball in there for our listeners. So yeah,
So a little bit of sports ball talk. All right. So for our episode today, we're going to discuss, for the most part, the NBA playoffs. At this point, right now, we're still in
playoffs.
the. We still have one game left. Yeah, playoffs. We still have one game left in the first round, Game 7
Mhm.
between the Warriors and Rockets. By the time
Our
this
Rockets.
episode airs, the game will have finished. So hopefully, we don't look too stupid when we make our predictions
Wait,
about how
so
Game 7 is going to go.
real quick, who do you think is going to win tonight? Just ballpark, just the way you've seen it play out so far. Who do you think wins between the
So
Warriors?
the Rockets should 100% win, which means the Warriors are probably going to. You know what I mean?
No, I get
I'm
it. I
very
get that.
confident the Rockets are going to win, so that's it's a it's a good choice to bet on the Warriors if you're the gambling type.
Do you think it's kind of weird that it's kind of weird to see Steph Curry, Draymond Green, that squad kind of, they're getting old, man. They can't just, rest on being the Warriors no more. They're not just beating teams up. Like usually I thought that experience and age would prevail in this, and it looked like a little bit in this series, but the young cats are kind of coming back on the old cats now. It's been kind of crazy to watch.
So it's a couple things. One, and I mean, listen, I mean, Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry aren't playing at 100%. Butler obviously missed a
Especially
game and a
Butler.
half.
Yeah, with his back
There's a
injury.
very good chance the Rockets would have been straight up swept if Butler had been playing. So
Oh yeah,
that's a bad look, obviously. And he had a terrible game 5. You can tell he's still not 100%. I mean, you can
yeah.
argue that most people aren't at this stage, but the Rockets, I mean, the Warriors always had a very. I think they had a path to making a real run. I think the
They
end of the
definitely had a path.
season, the several games they've showed that they had a path of making a real run to the finals, having at least an outside chance of another championship. But they needed everything to go perfectly, and it frankly hasn't. Butler and Steph aren't at 100%. Draymond's already acting up, has 2 flagrants and 3 technicals
This
already
guy.
in the first round. And then
What's this guy's
one,
problem anyway, Draymond? Is he I remember you talking about it earlier before we hopped on. It's like, is this guy trying to just mess himself up, self sabotage? I don't get it. He's a veteran. Like, why is
I
he doing all this?
honestly
It's bizarre.
don't get it. He's a grown ass man. I'm pretty sure he's a father, right? I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure he's a
that father of
married grown ass
3.
man
Yeah.
with children, and the dude is incapable of controlling his emotions to even a tiny degree. In a way that I mean, you might have excused it back almost 10 years ago in 2016. Like,
Yeah.
oh, he's so passionate and stuff. Okay, and I mean, I'm one of the few people that says, not even few. Apparently, Bill Simmons has been going hard at this lately. That
Yeah.
Draymond should not have been suspended, and that it tainted the 26 title for the 2016. Sorry, title for the Cavs. But
Yeah, the one that came back. Yeah.
yeah, regardless of that, regardless of how you feel about that, we're now almost a decade later,
A full
right?
decade later.
Like, at what point do you grow up? You know what
I
I mean?
think he was definitely all those championships they won. He was kind of reinforced with hey, Draymond, you're our enforcer, you're like our guard dog, whatever. So you go and do your thing. And for 10 years, his whole career, he's been kind of positively reinforced, saying, hey, all that stuff you're doing, it doesn't matter. Keep doing it because we're winning. Now they're not winning. It's just very evident that what he's doing is kind of tired and played out. But I think he still thinks this is the early '90s where he can just knock people out or put people in chokeholds, whatever.
I mean, yeah, it's just childish, and
Seriously.
it's just about obviously, ways that obviously are over aggressive. It's hard to take him seriously at this point.
Remember when he punched out Jordan Poole? Remember that whole thing? And like it was a huge deal, and like it was on camera.
Warriors were defending championships, and they had a very
Yeah,
good chance of repeating at that
they were
point.
supposed to repeat. I believe because they had
I
all the
don't know if I
pieces
was
back.
supposed to, but they
Okay,
had at
maybe it's
least a
supposed to, but
good chance,
yeah.
uh, and they fucked it up in large part because of that. Oh, the other things were at play too, like Klay Thompson forgetting how to play basketball. But yeah, no, it's a sad. I don't think they're quite done. I think, but I do think I want one thing that's happening in the Rocket series that I want to bring up as a common theme in several series this year. Okay, a lot of times in the playoffs, veteran teams end up having an advantage because the common thought goes playoffs slow down, the refs don't call as many ticky tack fouls,
let them play. Yeah.
it's more executing in the half court, it's
hmm
more grinding out possession. So the teams that are more used to doing that tend to win. That's
hmm
how it's felt like even last year, even the past couple of years with the Celtics. It's teams with the best execution that wins.
Definitely with the
This,
Celtics. Definitely with the Celtics. Yeah.
yeah, no, definitely. But this year it's been a little bit different. This year it's been the team that has the better athletes that can run up and down the floor more, that can get offensive rebounds.
Yeah, if you can run and gun it, you can definitely have a better shot. Usually, you could in the past, I'd say, if you can run and gun. But definitely this year, we're seeing that teams like OKC, for instance, they'll run you out of the court if you're not careful. Like you're definitely seeing how that's being played against the experience. Like experience can only take you so far, but if you're tired and
Yeah,
gassed up by
yeah.
the
We
second
saw it
quarter,
in the Clippers series where the
most
Clippers
definitely,
totally gassed out and gave up in game seven in the second half.
you weren't
We
kidding. They
saw
like
it,
stopped.
yeah, we saw it in the Lakers series where Gobert had like a combined 20 points the first four games of that series and then
And then
had a
went off.
career best game. Like he looked
He
like
did
Will
20,
Chamberlain,
like
24,
20 for 20.
25. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
20
crazy.
plus in points and rebounds. Why? Because you could tell the Lakers just got exhausted and gave in. Right? You could just tell they didn't have
Yeah.
it in them anymore to fight, that they no longer believed they could actually win a whole championship, and they just kind of gave in. The Wolves just outmuscled the Lakers. The Nuggets outmuscled
The
the
Clippers.
Clippers. James Harden had abysmal games on the road in Denver. 2 for 7, I think, this last game in Game 7.
Yeah.
Not much better in Game 5.
He turned
Truly,
it on.
just
He turned it on a little bit, but it was too late at the end. Again,
He
it's
had a
it's
he
the
had
same
a
thing.
couple good games. He had a
Yeah.
couple good games. It reminds me of that 3-1 series they gave up with the Sixers a few years ago
Mm.
against Boston. Well, I think it was 3-2, where they James Harden played super well in those 3 wins, and then God, like unspeakably bad. It's one thing to be like, oh, it's not Houston James Harden. He can't, take 25 shots a game, and that's fine. But at least be efficient. At least be
Yeah.
involved. At
Affect
least.
the game in other ways. Yeah.
Are you gonna say anything?
Yeah. I was saying to just affect the game in other ways. If you're James Harden, if you're not scoring, make sure you do other stuff to make sure that the game is affected still. If you can't contribute in that way.
It's at this point we've watched him too many times. It's the big part of the reason OKC traded him in the first place because he low key was awful in the finals against Miami.
hmm
Then in Houston, we saw some. It's telling that one of the big Houston wins of the recent years, that 3-1 victory against the Clippers back in like 2015 at this point. Wow, 10 years ago. I guess not that recent. James
Yeah.
Harden was off the floor on that big 19-point comeback in the fourth quarter. And he's supposed to be our best player, right?
And was that Mike D'Antoni still coaching us at that point?
No, that was Kevin McHale.